Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm the educator for the Hubbard Brook Research Foundation. And welcome to the Hubbard Brook Experimental Forest. You're going to help us explore the world of migratory birds and what they eat. Have you noticed that there are a lot of caterpillars around this year? We certainly have here, and we need your help to find out a little bit more about that. One of the questions that scientists have had recently that's especially interesting is, how does our changing climate affect the food supply and in turn the birds and the survival of their nestlings? We know from data collected here at the Hubbard Brook Experimental Forest that our growing season is longer, that our temperatures are higher in summer and winter. We know we're getting more precipitation and that it's coming in more intense storms. So what are the impacts of this? And I'm sure you have lots of questions about this too. You will be investigating the food supply for our songbirds and providing that information to us to help people all around the world answer these interesting questions. So let's go. When the birds return in the spring, they are really timing their return to coincide with the hatching out of insects. And in particular, their favorite food is caterpillars. Over 90% of what many of the birds are eating when they come back in the spring is caterpillars. So the timing of the caterpillar hatch is also really important. Caterpillars are larvae for moths and butterflies. So that's what you'll be looking for in your exploration. You'll be looking for the caterpillars themselves. You'll be looking also for spiders, which are another main food, as well as other insects, maybe beetles or ants. And you're going to be making a tally of what you find. The caterpillars are largely in two main different families, and we'll show you examples of each one. Some nice illustrations of the two main types of caterpillars that you are likely to encounter. The first family of caterpillar is nicknamed Geo, and the Geo caterpillars are what we often think of as inchworms, because when they walk along, they bunch themselves up into a little arch, and they seem to be measuring an inch as they go along. And that's because they have their 6 legs way up front near their head, and 2 other little sets of appendages called prolegs at the hind end, and they tend to arch up in the middle. So those are the geos. And then the other main group of caterpillars you may be seeing are the knocks. And the knocks have their 6 legs up front also, but they have little prolegs throughout their body. So in the midsection as well as the hind section. And they don't tend to make the arching, looping movement as they walk. They just walk continuously along. You don't need much to do this job. We have a little packet for you all ready to go. For your counselors, we have some notes about the background of this research and a link to a terrific 10-minute video that you might want to watch. And then we have a page of instructions for you as young scientists that will take you step by step through what you're going to be looking at and what you are going to be recording. I'll be filling in your name and the date and the time of your observations here. And then your 2 trees that you're going to observe along the edge of the forest. And you'll be tallying your data across each column for each tree. You're going to write down the species of the tree if you know what it is. But if you don't worry. You can just write down if it has large or small leaves right here. And you're also going to make a sketch of one of your leaves on a piece of paper that we'll provide to you. Then here in the columns under this dark box, you're going to tally the insects that you see. So here's a column for each geocaterpillar that you find. You probably won't see more than a few caterpillars in each of your tree surveys. So you'll have geocaterpillars, you'll have knock caterpillars, then you have a column where you'll tally spiders, and any other caterpillars or insects that you can't put in one of these groups. You'll keep track of those. At the end, you can total up the total number of munchers that you see. And you'll also keep track of the number of leaves that are eaten by insects, which this time of year is a lot. So Amy's going to show you in a moment how you can do that.
I'm Amy, and I want to thank you for being caterpillar counters for us. So we're going to ask you to find some trees on an edge location. An edge looks like this, where we're set up by the side of a road and the trees receive a lot of sun. And the other habitat we're going to ask you to look for is called the forested setting. So we'll go into the forest a bit and you will notice that it's darker and it's a different type of a habitat. So those are the two locations that we're thinking about in this study. And then the other thing is to look for big leaves versus small leaves. Do caterpillars prefer a big leafed plant, or would they rather hang out on a smaller leaf plant? Just find a tree that you have two samples of that are at eye level that you can gently pull down the branch and observe the leaves. We're going to count 50 leaves on each of the two samples of the red oak, which is our big leafed plant on the edge. So I'm going to gently pull this branch down, and the things that I'm going to keep track of are, am I going to find an insect on a leaf, and does the leaf have a hole in it? If there's a hole or a sign of eating, I'm going to say munch. And she's going to tally in the column for the big leaf plant on the edge, one tally for munch. So let's get started. So here's our first leaf. One, munch, no insects. Two, munch, no sign of insects. Three, munch. I'm looking at the top of the leaf, the back side of the leaf, and the stem of the leaf. And the scientific word for that is petiole. So we're looking on the petiole of the leaf. So the entire green part of the leaf. Three, I think I said three munch. 47, munch. 48, munch. 49, caterpillar! And it's a knock. It's got the center prolegs, and you can see the segments. Our final leaf, 50. So that completes the count of 50 leaves on our first tree, big leaf tree on the edge. Let's go to our second one. Was I at 42, Sarah? 42, munch. 43, caterpillar. Now that you've completed your edge setting observations, you can go into the forested setting and try and find, again, two large leaf plants and two small leaf plants. Don't worry about having the same species. It doesn't have to be the same as what you found on the edge. I'm standing here by a small leaf tree, the sugar maple, and there's the oak tree right there and a couple of other samples behind me. So enjoy observing 50 leaves on each of those trees in the forested setting, and thank you for your hard work. It will be fun to look at it next to what the Hubbard Brook scientists have found. So have a great day and enjoy the woods.